One of my favorite things is having plants all over my house, but I literally spend like $0 on buying new plants. If you're just meeting me, my name is Amy Cross and this is the Cross Legacy, where we're normally talking about groceries, but I love to be able to share some of my other money saving tips. This is actually our very last day filming here in the house with my plants here still in the house. We are getting ready to move. So by the time we have the next filming day, all of my plants will have made the trip over to Eastern Washington. And I just thought it would be kind of fun to showcase some of the plants that I have here at the house. And I still have a lot of plants here at the house, and one of my friends even took a carload of plants to her house, so we didn't have so many here during showings. Some of the plants in my house I have been growing for over 20 years, and I don't even remember when the first time I got these pothos were, but they are all babies of babies, as I like to say. And I have a couple different varieties here. We're not going to get bogged down by any of the scientific facts. I just want to teach you how to make new cuttings and be able to grow your own new plants. So I have these trailing all over my house, and then I have some big bushy plants, and how I like to keep making them fuller and looking bushy is I take ones that are like this that have lost a lot of leaves and I remake them into new plants. So what you're going to do is take some shears or some scissors, and every time there is a leaf coming out, there is a little node next to it, and you just want to trim it on both sides of that little area, and that's where you're going to put it into the water. So this is the node right here, and you're going to cut on both sides of it. So this side and that side. Go back and cut this one smaller. And then I'm going to do that to this whole train. So this whole vine has lost a bunch of its leaves because it's by our front door and we've been moving furniture in and out of the house. So I'm going to go all the way back down here to where the first leaf, where its bushy is, and I'm going to cut off this whole vine. So all of this extra vine I'm just going to cut off, and then I'm going to start here and cut off these 3 leaves and the nodes. Okay, the same thing is happening with this vine here, so I'm going to cut this back, but I wanted to show you this one right here. It will go perfectly in one of my vases, so I want to keep this longer piece here. Now I have a couple of these different test tube kind of holders that I have throughout the house. We've taken some of them down already to get ready for the move, but they work really well when you have the longer stem like this, that they will sit up in there. And then I like the leaf to be able to pop out. Now the root is going to still come from that node area, so I can cut as much of that stem off as I want. It's really great to keep that stem for these a little bit longer while you're growing them in the water, but when you go to put them into the dirt, then I just cut that shorter. So this is a handful of starts that I got off those 2 vines, and I have a couple that are already in these test tubes. I'm just going to add these to a jar, and then we're going to put water in here. I just want to talk about the water for a second. Normally I use my Berkey or my Barrow filter for filtered water whenever I'm doing something like this, but we've already packed it up. So I'm probably going to use my fridge water today. If I was using my tap water, it has too much chlorine in it and it will end up killing the plants. So I try to use filtered water. If your only option is to use your tap water that has chlorine in it, I would just have the water sit out overnight before you ended up putting it in the plants. This is one that was down in Mike's office that I didn't realize that the water had evaporated down, and this leaf wasn't sitting in the water all the way, or the roots for it wasn't sitting in the water all the way, and that's why it's yellow. So I'm just going to remove this one. But you can tell that most of my plants look so beautiful and healthy because I'm checking on them all of the time. So I just removed that one leaf. It was actually on a stem that had another leaf, so I kept the stem and the root, but look how long these roots are already. They've only been down there for a couple weeks. These roots are now long enough that I can make it into its own plant. I am not potting any new plants right now, so this will just stay in the water until after we move, and as I'm deciding where everything's going to go, then I'll decide how big of a pot I will put this in and add dirt to it. These little starters are also great to tuck into the dirt of another pot that you might have that it has some bare spots. And I like being able to add like the variegated in with the other plants, and it just makes for beautiful arrangements. One of the reasons I love propagating pothos is they survive really well in dark spaces. So both of our bathrooms have no windows, and being able to add green things on the wall or the shelves just makes it feel a little bit more alive in the bathroom, and it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable and cozy. I do have another wall hanging that was actually a candle votive holder that I put pothos in all of the time to propagate it. So it is kind of fun to look around at some of the items that you might have in your house and how you can repurpose them for different items. This one is by our front door, and our front door is glass, so I normally don't do that during the summertime because it gets too much heat. If you want to have your house feel more bright and alive, bringing in plants is a great way to do that, and especially when you're able to save a lot of money and just keep regrowing more plants on your own. I love that these can be special gifts to give to friends, and then they will always remember you from the plants you gave also. If you'd like to see more how I decorated in my house here, we have a house tour video, and then we are going to be moving really soon and moving all of these plants over to our new house, and those videos will be coming up in the next couple weeks.